To the week of heats last weekend, we saw Danielle Hope crowned the nation's new Dorothy in Over the Rainbow. However, during an interview, she revealed she was once so shy she pleaded with teachers to be an usher in the school play rather than appear on stage. But, aged 11, she was forced to perform in a production of Grease and said, "I found it incredibly easy to become another person on stage. All of a sudden, I had found something I could finally do, and that had never happened before." So, when did that moment register with us? When did we realise exactly what we were here to do?
Well, I think when I used to sing very early on, sort of 7, 8 years old, and I could hear the orchestra. And that's what I say, when I'm teaching people, you can tell when they're naturally musically born. When I'm playing the piano, they're singing, and they can hear the orchestra behind them. Half of me thinks that it would have been nice for me not to be so consumed with music, because I would have had a chance of doing something else. But there was, you know, when you know that there is absolutely nothing else that you can do. I oozed music from 7, 8. Couldn't wait to learn musical instruments, sang all the time. You know, I just think, you know, really. I think probably the first time when I was 8 in primary school, when I played the lead in Jonah and the Whale. Yeah. I knew then.
Who were you?
Sorry?
Who were you?
The Whale.
No.
I was. No, but you know when
I think you're right, and I can. A couple of times there was, but one stands out very clearly. I was about 7 or 8, and I was going for swimming lessons with my cousin Gillian in Hove. We used to drive to Hove, and I'd sit in the back singing "Around the World in 80 Days" very loudly, all the way there and all the way home. And one day my cousin, she was fed up. She went, "Oh, I think you're probably going to go into show business." And I suddenly thought, yes, show business. There's no business. But I realised very quickly I probably wasn't going to be a very serious actress, and I got my first laugh when my mum had taught me, "I'm a little teapot, short and stout, here's my handle, here's my handle." And then somebody taught me the other version, which was, "I'm a little teapot, short and stout, here's my handle, here's my..." Oh dear, I'm a sugar basin. And I knew...
You'd had your calling. Well, do you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think it's brilliant. I think it's a gift to know what your calling is in life. But surely we're not all just put here to do one thing. I saw a clairvoyant last year, and he said to me, "Your life will pan out in 4 phases, and you're only at the beginning of the 2nd phase." I thought, crikey, I'm knackered. I'm not even halfway. How can that be? So then I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And he talked about other things that I might go on to do with my life that are completely removed from what I do now. And actually, I've already had kind of 2 careers.
Well, what kind of things?
More in terms of kind of, you know... well, one of the things that I've always been really interested in is psychotherapy.
Oh, we all need a bit of that on here, love.
Right.
We do it on here, don't we?
It's really interesting, actually, though, because in order to practice it, you know, you have to preach... You know, in order to preach it, you have to practice it, so you'd have to go into therapy. So there's just... I think that life isn't about just coming here and doing one thing. It's about evolution, your interests change, your life changes, and maybe we're not here just to do one thing.
But, well, I agree, because, you know, I grew up in a musical family, so it's something I always did since the age of 2, so I never had that moment of, this is what I want to do. As far as music was concerned, it was just something I did. Now, obviously, since then, I've done, you know, loads of other things, and I love everything I've done and everything I've tried. But the very first time it hit me, as in that moment of, I really do believe this is what I was born to do, was when I went on tour last year with my sisters. And
really?
that was, you know, it'd been 25 years since I'd toured with them before.
Really cool.
And I don't know whether that was because this time round it was my choice to do that, you know, whereas before I'd just grown up with it, it was something I did. But it was a real... I remember that it was a real defining moment, and it was on the first opening night, and at the end I just stood there and thought, this is actually what I think I was born to do, as much as I love doing everything else.
And you appreciated it more, probably, as well,
yeah,
like, at this point in your life.
But I never thought you know, I'd heard people go, "Oh, I've had that defining moment," and I used to think, "Oh, that's rubbish, you know, it's a bit theatrical."
Well,
it's a bit your type.
Yes, except there's nothing wrong with theatre.
It did actually happen.
I would say to Kate that, you know, if you don't... It's all I ever wanted to do after that, and actually, if I hadn't been like that, there could be no options. I couldn't have survived, because every time somebody knocks you back, you have to have this... it's embarrassing to talk about, but you have to have that drive, don't you? Otherwise you give up, you know.
Yeah.
You have
No,
to keep on and
absolutely,
on and on.
Linda,
It's all I ever want. It's still all I ever wanted to do. I still...
So you-
I wanted to be a vet, though.
Did you?
Yes.
See, me too. I
Don't
love
laugh.
animals. No, I met a vet at the weekend. His name was Di. He said it's a good job to have.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. But I think when...
You didn't fall for the I'm a vet, did you?
Yes, she did.
He wasn't.
Get to bed, she said.
Oh, Chloe, think where his hands have been. OK, time for your first